The race now between Hillary and the Republicans still and the Democrats still have to select their candidates, but it's looking like Hillary will be running. She'll probably be the selected candidate for the Democrats. Donald Trump is out there. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, if it's hard to take him seriously. I know he's doing well in the polls now, but also the fact that the presidential election system lasts so long, and that's something that I think most Americans don't like about our system and would like to see change. But because of these primaries being so drawn out, it lasts a long time, and so you do tend to have in this very early stage a lot of the kind of most outlandish candidates getting the most attention. What's interesting historically is that once it gets closer to voting, they do tend to fade away. Now, maybe this time will be different. Maybe Trump will have staying power. But before, previous candidates like him have not had the same sort of staying power. And I will show my bias here and very much hope that Mr. Trump will go back to reality television and leave presidential politics alone.
What I find most disturbing about Donald Trump is his fairly naked racism against Mexican immigrants. I think us as Irish Catholic politicians in the United States of America, we should remember and we should fight against those forces of intolerance. The very first Irish Catholic immigrants to the United States, or the very first big wave of Irish Catholic immigrants, were right after the Great Hunger here in Ireland. And there was a political party called the Know Nothing Party, which began to preach very anti-Irish sentiments and beliefs in United States politics. Donald Trump really is the modern day equivalent of the Know Nothing Party.
Yeah, I do. I think that Kevin very eloquent in saying that, and I do think that, and I actually bring this up on the House floor, that I'm one of the few members of Congress who is the son of an immigrant, and many of my colleagues don't readily think of that, because when they think of an immigrant to the United States, they think of someone who doesn't look like me. So the fact that I'm part of a group, Irish Americans, that have been largely very successful in the United States and have already achieved a certain level, we're thought of and accepted in a much different way than the new immigrants of today. So I think it's actually important for us as Irish Americans to speak up and say, well, there was a time, actually not too long ago, when the Irish were coming to the United States, were being talked about the same way some groups are being talked about today, and it's just unfair and wrong. The nice thing is, though, sincerely, while Donald Trump is getting a lot of attention, the vast majority of Americans, 70%, disagree with what he's saying. The problem is he's captured the imagination and the support of that very loud and vocal 30%. And there's always been that certain segment of the American population that unfortunately is not welcoming to immigrants, but they're not the majority, and in the end, they won't win out.
And the greatest irony, the unfortunate irony, is that Donald Trump's mother was an immigrant. She was an immigrant from Scotland.